So, sisters and brothers, friends and comrades, thank you for letting me come to speak today on behalf of the Edmonton chapter of the Council of Canadians. I'd like to acknowledge in our group today the chapter chair of the Council of Canadians for Edmonton, Marie Chidley, who happens to be my wife. I'd like to acknowledge Sheila Muxlow, who is the regional organizer for the Council of Canadians. And I'd like to, of course, acknowledge all of the sisters and brothers across Canada today who are taking part in similar demonstrations to this. The Canadian Peace Alliance has been working with warresisters.ca and is sponsoring or linking demonstrations that are being held probably in 20 cities or more across Canada. In some of our sister cities, such as St. John's, Newfoundland, the actual individuals who are escaping from the American illegal war, are speaking. St. John's, Newfoundland, Toronto, and Calgary, among several cities. We don't have with us today. We don't have a war resistor, but I'd like to just reminisce for a moment with you about a book that I read about one of our brothers who is a war resistor. The book is called Deserter's Tale by Joshua Key, and in the book Joshua Key started off as an working class Oklahoma man who started an early family, and the American military that inducted him after September the 11th, 2001 assured him of steady work and no deployment overseas. Well, in that, as in many other things, the U.S. military and administration was lying, and hence Joshua Keyes was sent to Iraq. On his return, after his first rotation from Iraq, Joshua Key was terribly troubled by what he had seen and experienced, and there was a birth of real consciousness in this man. We have to remember that with the dominant worldview of the America is everything ideology in that country, that it's very difficult to for people who have no other access to information than what's on television to see what's going on. But Joshua Keyes and other people like Jeremy Hintzman did conclude that something was wrong, something was very, very wrong. Ultimately, he understood that it was war crimes that are being carried out by the United States of America and its allies in Iraq and Afghanistan. Canada is in it up to our eyeballs, and we are committing war crimes, and we have to get those troops out. For the war resistors, what happened with Joshua Key is that one of the incidents that he in his book describes is American soldiers playing soccer on the field with somebody's head. That's a war crime, sisters and brothers. And Hintzman and Joshua Key and others understood that. So he had to get out. He was on the rotation. Joshua Key was back in Colorado at a base, and what he did is he fled with his wife, 4 children at that time, and another anonymous person in the friend who's not named in the book. So Joshua Key made his way to I believe it was New York State, where the family lived in a shopping mall. Like, you know how Walmart allows you to park for free if you've got a Winnebago? Well, they just took their overcrowded station wagon and parked for free on a Walmart lot someplace. Then what happened is Joshua Key, this was 4 years ago, came up with a phrase. And the phrase he came up with was war resistors. He went to an internet cafe and Googled war resistors. And yes, there's a support organization, warresisters.ca in Toronto, which is made up, I'm sure we've seen them on television, at least CBC television will show us things like that. So on the internet, from an internet cafe, Joshua Key contacted the War Resisters organization in Toronto, and they made arrangement to meet him across the bridge, at the Buffalo crossing. So Joshua Key, went by himself to meet his contacts, and he froze. You see, he was so afraid that the CIA, the FBI, the other security agencies, and he was absent without leave from the U.S. military. He'd fled the war machine, that they had intercepted his internet communications and that they were going to pick him up at the border. You see, he didn't have any concept at the time of Canada, of what was waiting for him. All he knew was the USA and the miasma of what that was. So he went back to the shopping center parking lot, discussed things with his family, made contact, and then he thought again, and he made contact with our friends in Toronto. And on the second try, Joshua Key crossed the border with his family, met up with, his contact was Winnie Ng from the Canadian Labour Congress, the trade union movement in Canada, which is standing foursquare against these wars. Met up with Winnie Ng and others, and he is now living someplace in Western Canada, in the province of Saskatchewan or Manitoba. So he made it. Joshua Key is a war resistor who's I'm sure would be with us today. But this is I'm telling you this long story to illustrate just what it is that they have done. The bravery that these people who are resisting war crimes, who have dared to say no to U.S. imperialism in its worst aspects, and come to our country. And now, as you know, these war resistors are being deported. Robin Long was sentenced to 15 months. Others are being sentenced again on September 23rd is the deportation date for Jeremy Hinsman, whom the Council of Canadians and Maud Barlow from the Council of Canadians has offered, or not offered, but gave a special award to in recognition of his courage and stand against the war. So what I would urge you to do is, following up from today, is get on that internet, go to the Canadian Peace Alliance, or go to warresisters.ca, or go to Canadians.ca, which is the website for the Council of Canadians. Look up, find out how you can sign a petition. You can send your message of support to the American war resistors, and at least strike that kind of one blow against the empire. So thanks again, and courage, friends. We're in it for the long haul.